Welcome back. As you know, I am Eli the Computer Guy here for the Daily Blob, where I shake my brain nipples every day to get some of that dirty YouTube money to allow me to do hands-on technology education in Durham, North Carolina. So I do Silicon Dojo, silicondojo.com, free to the end user, hands-on technology education. You simply come and you learn. We're having a class on OpenAI API coming up in a couple of days. It is completely full. No more people can come, but we are doing more classes in the future. If you're interested, go to the website to take a look at the our schedule of what's coming up. Do remember, free to the end user isn't actually free. It does cost some money. If you want to throw some money into the donor box link down below, that would be ever so lovely. And yeah, this is getting stupider. This is getting stupid. I feel like that should just be my phrase. That should just be my phrase for 2025. So, you thought it was stupid before? It's getting even stupider now. Yeah, so basically, China at this point is telling the United States to have fun with that as far as rare earth minerals go, right? So the United States has been doing dipshittery with China. China is tired of the dipshittery, so China has decided to do the dipshittery back, right? And so basically China right now has put out these export restrictions on any product that contains rare earth materials, along with any product that contains more than like 0.01% of rare earth materials, that they have to have an export license to be able to export those outside of China, and that China does not want those materials to be used for military and dual use purposes, and this is causing a bit of a heartache in the United States, right? So China produces, I get confused. Like whenever I look at these percentages, I swear to God, they're always different. In this particular article, they say China produces 60% of the rare earth minerals around the world. I've heard it as high as 90%. Basically, what's happened and what's put us into this position is this is like literally nothing new. China literally punished Japan with rare earth minerals like 10 years ago. Japan did something that China didn't like. China was like, no rare earth minerals for you. And it was a wake-up call. It was an alarm to the world about we should do something about China's stranglehold over rare earths. You know, that was over 10 years ago. But this has been going on for a while. And the problem basically is that mining and refining rare earth minerals is environmentally destructive. Right? It just destroys the environment. It's a crap show, right? Because it's mining when they mine material. So you have to mine a tremendous amount of just material out of the earth, and then out of that, a minuscule amount of that is actually the rare earths that you're looking for. So you have to disturb a huge amount of material. You have to transport a huge amount of material. Out of that, you only get this much. So then you have to dispose of a huge amount of material. And it's basically just an environmental crap show. One of the problems that we had during the 2000s is that the United States wanted to, quote unquote, clean up their act, right? With the rise of eco-warriors and greenie weenies, we wanted to make the United States less polluting. The problem is, being Americans, just because we wanted the United States to be less polluting didn't mean we didn't want our toys. Oh, by God, we still want our toys. We still want our stuff. We just don't want the United States to be polluting. And so there's this thing called greenwashing. Many companies in the United States were doing greenwashing, along I'd say, with the entire country itself. And the idea is we clean up our environmental act by exporting all of the highly toxic industry to some other country that's willing to take it. And so China was willing to take it. Good, bad, this is their business. Again, I don't scream about China a lot because it's not my fucking country. If I was a Chinese person, I'd be screaming my head off and probably in prison at this point. But I'm not Chinese, so that's why I don't scream about them that much, right? But that was the thing. We exported so much of this industrial capacity to China because they were willing to poison the ever-loving shit out of their country in order to make money, right? They understand how the math fucking works. So anyway, so they've been doing this for a while, and now again, they've basically cornered the market on rare earths. The issue for us in the United States is we have a new mine that I do believe has either just come online or is coming online. The problem we have in the U.S. is we have let the rare earths industry in the U.S. basically fizzle. for like at least 2 decades at this point. And it takes a long time to get industrial capacity up to speed. Not only does it take a long time to get industrial capacity up to speed, but it takes a long time to smack so many blue hairs. Right? You think about smacking a blue hair, you're like, that's not too hard. Eli's complaining about smacking blue hairs. Eli, I've smacked a blue hair. It's not too hard to smack a blue hair. But what I want you to think about is, how do you smack blue hairs at scale? Right? Because one of the issues we have in this country right now, again, we still have the eco-wars. We still have the quote-unquote environment, the fucking environmentalists running around in their SUVs eating fucking hamburgers that are like, what is happening to our planet? It's like, have you ever heard of a mirror, jackasses? But anyways, one of the issues we have in the country too is just pure industrial capacity. Like even you're like, we need to open a mine, we need to have the refining capacity, all that, right? That's just gonna take time, right? There's financing. Not only is it building, but there's financing, getting the money in order to finance everything. It's building everything, it's getting everything up to speed, it's onboarding and upskilling employees to do all of these different types of very specific work. So all of that crap, takes time on its own. And we have so many people, again, in the United States, where it's the whole thing, like not even just not in my backyard, but not in my country, right? I want to be able to drive my car. I want to be able to have my air conditioning. I want to be able to eat my big ass, bacon, cheese, hamburgers or whatever else. But by God, if you drill in Alaska, that is the real evil. And so one of the issues too is you got the environmentalists and the laws and all that kind of stuff in the country that is just going to take ramping up this rare earth capacity. It's just gonna take a long time. A decade, like at least. Even under Trump, it's gonna take a decade at least. You're gonna get somebody after Trump, maybe it's gonna take 2 decades. And this is one of the problems I have with this whole Trump administration and what they're currently doing with policies, is I am for reshoring industrial capacity. I am for pushing the trades for our young people and even for our middle-aged people, right? But the problem is, like, this shit takes time. So anyways, there's a big thing right now where Trump again, basically the winner of sound bites, the winner of blurbs, has created a deal with Australia that has solved our rare earth problems, right? An $8.5 billion deal with Australia so that we're going to use Australians' rare earth capacity essentially to replace China, which, that sounds good in a blurb. That sounds good in a soundbite. Takes a little while. It takes a little time for any of this stuff to work out. So we have CNBC. We have CNBC basically reporting on this. China says U.S. and Australia, quote, should play a proactive role to bolster rare earth supply chains. Which basically, I take this as China being a little snarky and saying, go for it, girlfriend. Oh, girlfriend gonna do their own rare earths? Have fun. Also, you do have to understand with China right now. So again, they have a lot of institutional or industrial knowledge, right? With any industry out there, whatever it is, right? There's special skills, there's special knowledge, right? There's ways things have to be done. One of the interesting things with the whole rare earth thing with China, again, if I was a Chinese person, why I'd be screaming to all high hell and back, is because they're not allowing their rare earth experts to leave China. So think about this, like the expertise that they've built up over decades, they're not allowing that to leave, right? So when the United States exported our rare earth capacity to China, we sent our experts from the US to China to upskill their workforce in order to get them up to speed. Now that we're trying to get back up to speed, China's like, no. Oh, you need some help moving the sofa? Oh, you need some help? Yeah, we're busy that day. Oh, you didn't tell us what day it was? Yeah, we're just busy. We're just busy. Anywho, China on Tuesday responded to the U.S.-Australia critical minerals deal by saying resource-rich rare earth countries should take a, quote, proactive role in stabilizing their critical minerals supply chains. A spokesperson for China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs was asked about the U.S. and Australia critical minerals deal, which has been framed as an effort to counter Beijing's dominance. Quote, the formation of global production and supply chains is a result of market and corporate choices, Guo Jiakun said, according to NBC. Quote, resource-rich nations with critical minerals should play a proactive role in safeguarding the security and stability of the industrial and supply chains and ensure normal economic and trade cooperation. Do you remember with all of this, one of the reasons that China is pushing back is we have all of these export controls against China. Basically, the idea is with China, with the tariffs and the export controls and all the dip crappery we're doing against China, China's like, well, again, we can play stupid too. So I think it's kind of interesting here. Their argument, basically what they're putting out to the rest of the world is, hey, if you have valuable things that the Western world needs, you should take a proactive role in making sure that the West can bends to your will too. U.S. President Donald Trump and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Monday signed an agreement at the White House intended to boost the supplies of rare earths and other critical minerals. The framework agreement, which was described as an $8.5 billion deal between the allies, comes shortly after China imposed more stringent export controls on rare earths. China's Commerce Ministry earlier this month announced expanded curbs on export of rare earths and related technologies, seeking to prevent the, quote, misuse of minerals in the military and other sensitive sectors. China is the undisputed leader of the critical mineral supply chain, accounting for roughly 60% of the world's production of rare earth minerals and materials. U.S. officials have previously warned that this poses a strategic challenge amid the pivot to a more sustainable energy sources. So yeah, that is what is currently going on with the rare earth mineral argument or whatever. We will see where it goes in the future. Again, there is a real question here of does the United States have the capacity, right? Does it have whatever is required to actually be a major producer and refiner of this kind of thing? Again, not just the financing, not just the construction, not just the upskilling, but again, think about the environmental laws that have to change, right? This is one of the things that I argue about with Trump's, reshoring or onshoring or inshoring policy. Is one of the big questions that seems to get left out is what areas of our country are we going to decide to turn into Superfund sites? Right? You're not supposed to talk about that. But like that's one of the big issues that I see. If you look at so much of our industrial real estate in the United States, it's literally being turned into luxury condos. It's not even just simply being turned into like affordable housing, which would be its own thing. It's being turned into luxury condos. Oh, you know this port area, right? Oh, that's new luxury condos. Oh, the beautiful old factory, that's now luxury condos, right? All of this, the industrial areas are being turned into basically condos. And the issue then becomes too, is with the environmental laws, right? Environmental laws are much stricter than they used to be. So in these areas, right? So a lot of these areas are grandfathered. So, right? If you were polluting the ever-loving fuck out of them 100 years ago, you can do a lot of pollution. It's better, but you can still do a lot of pollution now, simply the grandfather, right? When you put in a new factory, when you put in a new facility, that's under all of the new environmental laws. And one of the big issues is that many of these environmental laws, they're too strict to be economically viable in the modern world, right? And so the issue that we're currently dealing with is in order to bring back industrial capacity to the United States, we also have to bring back a tremendous amount of pollution. And understand, when I talk about tremendous amount of pollution, we have to talk about what the effects of that tremendous amount of pollution are. The effects are more cancer. The effects are more asthma. The effects are more of the bad things that we dislike. But that's kind of what comes, part and parcel for industrialization, right? You get runoff. You get mercury in your stream. You get this bad stuff, right? You want to extract from the planet. Extracting from the planet comes fundamentally with a cost. So if you're going to bring back these industries to the United States, one of the conversations we have to have as Americans is what state is going to become Superfundville, right? You know, personally, Illinois has always pissed me off. I don't know what it is about Illinois. I have never fucking liked Illinois. Fuck Illinois. If I was gonna say, I'd say Illinois. We should put all of our nuclear waste in Illinois, and we should refine all of our rare earths in Illinois. And basically, we should turn Illinois into the cesspool we all kind of sort of know it already is. People are like, what the fuck is wrong with Illinois? I don't know. I just don't like Illinois. Look, if we have to pick a state that's going to become a Superfund site, I vote Illinois. That's why we have a democracy. We can all come together to vote on which state becomes the Superfund site. But those are the practical considerations I don't see being solved. These are the practical considerations that I don't see us as Americans being told to come to the table and take a long, deep, hard look into our souls and asking ourselves, who are we willing to sacrifice of dying of god-awful cancer so that you know I can have my smartphone. Now look, I need my look, I'm a content creator. I must have my iPhone. I must refresh this every 4 or 5 years. That is just mandatory, right? If a few people gotta die of god-awful cancer so I can get my iPhone, look, that's just how the world works. So we gotta come together. We gotta come together. Who needs iPhones and who's gonna die god-awfully of cancer? We gotta have a conversation about that and then go from there. But nobody wants to really talk about that. Nobody really wants to talk about that. And so I don't see where this is going to go. And again, the agreement with Australia, $8.5 billion agreement. I mean, that's fine, right? That's good. Again, Trump did something good. And a deal with Australia for rare earths is good. But it's like if the road is this long, it's like that. It's like that. That's the step we're on now. So anyways, I don't know. We're gonna see how this goes. Gonna see how 2026. You thought 2025 was dumb? Oh, 2026. It is just 2026 is going to amaze you with the level of stupidity we're gonna see in the world. But anyways, what do you think about this? What do you think about the US and Australia coming to this rare earth deal? What do you think about China basically coming out and telling all the countries of the world, hey, if you have valuable crap that the Western world needs, maybe you should try to bend the Western world to your needs instead of bending to theirs. What do you think about this? I mean, what do you think about just turning Illinois just into a Superfund site, right? Imagine all we have to do, we simply sacrifice Illinois and the rest of the country can be prosperous for the next 5 or 6 generations. I think that is a small price to pay. I don't know. Put your thoughts down below. If you like these videos, give us a thumbs up. If you hate these videos, give us a thumbs down. Call me amazing. Call me a dumbass. Just be a Lutnick and do it down there in the comment section. Do remember Silicon Dojo. SiliconDojo.com is what I actually care about. Free D&D is your hands-on technology education that empowers you to do whatever the fuck it is that you want to do. We're having our class on OpenAI API on Wednesday, a couple of days from now. That is full. You cannot come because we don't got no more seats. But we are going to be having more classes going in the future. If you want to see what's happening, do make sure to look at SiliconDojo.com for our event schedule. Free D&D user isn't free. It does cost money. If you want to throw some money into the donor box link down below, that would be ever so lovely. And with that, see y'all later.